At it again, and I've got a few videos here, so make sure you guys stick around. Kind of touching on how these guys and gals are really out of touch, especially on the left, and especially when you're running for office. I feel like that's one of the main things. You should be in touch with your base, right? With the people that you want to come out and support you. You should be in tune with their needs and wants. But unfortunately, these guys are like off in La La Land. But anyway, before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, hit that subscribe button down below and join the family. All right, join the family. And if you're not following me on social media, all of those links are down below in the description box. Instagram, Twitter, Truth Social, Discord server, all of that good stuff is down below. And with all that being said, let's dive in.
Congressman, thank you so much for coming on. So this will be studied, I think, if you do win, as it looks like you will, on Tuesday. This will be studied, for a long time, I think, I hope.
It'll actually be close. I've seen some conflicting polls. Some have it tied. Some still have them down by a couple of points. We shall see. We shall see. I personally think with as close as some of these polls are showing, with the independents and undecided voters typically leaning Republican right now, I think he'll pull off a close W if, there's nothing sinister going on, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying that will be the case, but, with somebody like Hillary coming out this early talking about 2024, I don't know. It just seemed a little fishy to me. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it just might, it's probably a duck. But anyway, let's continue
on. But tell us why you think in a state that went 23 points for Biden less than 2 years ago, you seem to be on your way to becoming the governor. Like, how did that happen? How did you do that?
Focus on the issues that matter most to New Yorkers. People are hitting their breaking point and fleeing this state because their wallets, their safety, their freedom, the quality of their kids' education are under attack.
And that, in and of itself, may be one of the issues he runs into. And I'm going to jump back into it, but you just heard him say it. People are hitting their breaking point and fleeing the state. Typically, those people are Republicans, which is one of the things that worries me in this race. I feel like a lot of Republicans have left, right? And it's just all leftists. So we'll see how it goes. How do you guys think it's going to play out? Let me know.
You have to wake up to video, pictures, and stories of people being pushed in front of an oncoming subway car or a Green Goblin gang. People are getting beaten on a street, and it's not just inside of the city. You're seeing stories from across the state. Heck, I even had a gang-related drive-by shooting in my front yard a few weekends ago. It hits us close to home for all these New Yorkers who are hitting that breaking point. We're focusing on those issues, and Kathy Hochul doesn't want to talk about any of it. She wants us to just look away. There's nothing to see here. She's calling it a conspiracy, and even as you list actual factual data, she'll say that you're a data denier. And what she said last week in our debate was that when I was saying, hey, Governor, we're almost done with the entire conversation about crime, you still haven't mentioned the whole locking up the bad guy part of this. And she said she doesn't understand why that is so important to me. And when she says she doesn't understand why that's so important to me, she's saying that she doesn't understand why that's so important to all sorts of New Yorkers. So she's really alienated herself, not just with Republicans, but Democrats and independents too.
Well, yeah, and it's not a hard formula, and I'm grateful that you're doing it and you're being rewarded for it. It's like, let's not let the civilization collapse. That's not ideological. You hear people say common sense politics. That's the most common sense politics. Why isn't every Republican in America running on this?
Hey, listen, I think it's just important to know what matters most to the person you're trying to earn support from. And we get asked this question, what's the top issues of the campaign? And you have candidates who like, they're thinking about what they want the top issues to be. It doesn't work like that. The people are in charge. The answer to the question is...
And that's what I was mentioning that's what I was kind of referencing when I was talking about a lot of these guys and gals being out of touch. They want it to be abortion. Abortion is an issue for a lot of folks, but it's nowhere near the top. When you look at some of these polls asking folks, hey, what's your top issue? Abortion is like 4th or 5th on the list. 4th or 5th. in the top 4 are Republican-led issues. So when you get to, it's too late. You've already lost. By the time you get to abortion, you've already lost the debate. And they keep trying to force it down folks' throat. And folks are like, yeah, I care about abortion, but you've destroyed this country. So I care about this, this, and this. And then abortion comes in. What? They won't get it through their head.
Whatever New Yorkers or whatever your potential voter is telling you is the most important issue to them. That's what the most important issues of these campaigns are about. And here in New York, people want to feel safe on the streets. They want the attacks on their wallets to end. They want to feel like freedom is actually being defended, and they want the quality of their kids' education to be improved.
Yeah, they do. So you need, you probably got to get in the high 20s or 30s in New York City. New York is vast, of course. New York City's at the very bottom. Do you think there are enough sensible Democrats or fed up Democrats in New York City who will vote for you that you can win?
Yeah, absolutely. You have Democrats who feel like their party has left them. Some Democrats consider themselves to be conservative. Some Democrats register Democrat in New York City because that's what you do. You want your vote to count, and you feel like the only way to make your vote count is to vote in a Democratic primary for the most normal option if you have one. You have Democrats who want to be able to ride a subway without hugging a pole or grabbing a guardrail. Now you have this new congestion pricing scam, which over in London's not working out too well. They want to bring that to New York, and who knows what other cities elsewhere. There's a lot of Democrats who aren't hyper-partisan Democrats where they will just always vote Democrat for the rest of their life. They want balance.
So, I feel like he was spot on with that. You have to pay attention to the guys and gals that you want to come out and support you. Well, I've got another video from Daily Caller. Shout out to Daily Caller that I want to show you guys really quick. And then I've got another clip that we're going to jump into. So stick around. But let's dive into this. Check this out.
I witnessed 2 gentlemen within a 3-week period get stabbed.
This is in New York, by the way. This is in New York.
Literally get stabbed. One of them right in front of my face. He just got stabbed. And all for $30. The other one, guy walked up to him, stabbed him in the shoulder, stabbed him in the gut, and walked off. No cops, no nothing. Why are you allowing violent criminals to be repeatedly released on the street?
She watched 2 people, not 1, but 2 go down in the same fashion. Sheesh Louise.
Should this infamous New York City hatchet man be out of jail? We asked New Yorkers to go find out.
I haven't seen it.
It's this guy.
Holy shit.
Watch.
I'm gonna blur out this whole thing because it's kind of crazy.
Ready? Give one more for good measure. So if you know where I'm going with this guy was let out of jail, and then he went out.
Basically, if you guys haven't seen the video, there was a guy with an axe or hatchet, whatever you want to call it, in McDonald's. A fight broke out and some people were swinging on him. There was like 3 younger guys. They were all, jumping on him, right? And in the video, he says, "Is that all you guys got?" Because they were hitting him, but he was kind of unfazed by it. But because they were like young kids, no muscle mass whatsoever, and this is a grown man, so he was just like eating the punches. But it really annoyed him and ticked him off, so he went over to his book bag, pulled out an axe or hatchet, whatever you want to call it, and literally just started destroying the glass in McDonald's. He broke a table. He smacked one of the kids across the head, and they're all cowering in a corner. Like, they were super tough when they were ganging up on him. But they're all cowering in the corner, oh man, kind of thing. And so apparently he was arrested, but he was let out. And so that's where we are with this story. So just to give you guys a little backstory on that whole situation, since I'm probably going to blur out the video that was showing him, going crazy. But anyway, let's jump back in.
So if you know where I'm going with this guy was let out of jail, and then he went out, committed another crime, and then after that he got let out again. So now he's out again. So what do you think about that?
I think he should be back in jail.
He should be put back in jail. Needs to be immediately incarcerated.
We're starting seeing like a lot of people committing crimes here in New York City. You see it, I see it, everyone's seeing it, and honestly, I don't want to say the name, but like I think the city should be doing a better job because you don't see like this.
Yeah, this is a New York thing right here.
It's a sidewalk. They shouldn't been doing that, but like anyway, it is what
Yeah.
it is. It's New York City. That's what I'm talking about.
So this guy takes a hatchet out of his bag in a McDonald's and starts breaking things.
Look at her face. Look at her face. That should let you know how crazy this video footage actually is. Let me move my head out of the way.
Just another day in New York City. Yeah.
So then he hits this guy. Okay. And then he attacked some people.
That's frightening.
Do you think he should be held until his trial?
Probably. He seems very dangerous.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
you don't
pretty
suppose.
straightforward. Like, that cannot happen again. I'm all for being tolerant and trying to reform people. At the same time, humans need a lot of discipline.
After he was let out, he stole a bike while evading police and was put back in jail and then let out again. So does that make sense to you? What do you think?
When we're talking about like abolition of prison systems and bail reform, right? We're talking about a lot more than just simply, no bail, right? We're talking about attacking structural issues that would cause somebody to behave like this.
In this situation, when someone acts that way, do you think maybe that's someone that we should be a little more wary about, letting out?
We should probably focus on, freeing people from structures of constraint and violence, things like alleviating poverty. So if we focus our efforts there, we won't need to be having this conversation about whether or not somebody is, appropriately released on bail. No jails, no prisons, nothing like that. It all.
I don't want to have people
What?
like
Oh, well, crazy liberal New Yorker. No jails, no prisons. Yeah, okay. Bet you won't be saying that when it's brought to your front door. But anyway.
caught in a system. I get it, like whatever. It's not a perfect system, but at the same time, like if somebody's gonna be an obvious like threat to society, they need to not be in society. This is not like, oh, get this guy in therapy for a while and a little bit of, talk sessions is gonna work it out. Like, no, this guy needs to be put somewhere safe for his own sense and everybody else's, more for everybody else's.
Does that make you feel like unsafe in the city that people like that are out on bail?
I mean, definitely. I do think that in every single city there's people that get out on bail like that all the time.
I think I saw that video.
It's a pretty viral video. That guy was actually let out without bail. And then after he was let out, he committed another crime. He stole a bike to evade police.
Yeah.
And he got let out again after that.
It really doesn't make sense. I mean, if you're gonna let someone out like that with a bad crime on his back, we're not safe. We're not straight in the streets. It's a lot of crimes going on lately.
It makes absolutely no sense. Any money bet this individual has a history of violent crimes. The train's already saturated with violent criminals, and now you're having them let out with no bail. I can understand the concept of bail reform, but this has gotten out of hand. And until we start putting people behind bars and making them pay their way out, this is not going to change.
So you mentioned not feeling safe. You mentioned things have gotten out of hand. Over the last 4 years, what have you noticed?
This is bad, especially the crimes on the trains. Mass transit has become just the most frightening place to be at. You can't close your eyes. You used to be able to take a nap on the trains. You can't do that now. You have to keep one eye open to make sure someone doesn't jump on you. And it's not even people that know you or an argument per se. It's just someone that's literally a stranger that's gonna jump on you and beat you up, take your stuff, and then you turn around and you tell me you put this person in jail and he's out again. So who's he gonna do it to next? Someone that can't get back up again? That's the problem. You're gonna eventually kill somebody out here.
Have either of you experienced this? Have you been victims of?
My wife have.
Yeah.
She's been a victim a couple of times on the subway.
They let him out on bail reform. They're letting so many people out on bail reform.
This stuff is just absolutely disgusting, man. Absolutely disgusting. So I hope New Yorkers wake the F up. Wake up. Get these people out of office. You shouldn't have to be fearful of your life when you're on mass transit to get to work. Anybody should be able to hop on a train and get to work and, close their eyes for, a few minutes and not have to worry about, oh, this person's going to possibly try to, put me in a pine box on here, so I better not fall asleep. Who knows what, you know what I mean? Like that's just absolutely crazy. But people like Kathy Hochul, they love it because they don't have to deal with it.
I think it's about time that Mayor Adams takes the piz.
What's the piz?
Well, you know, like if we're talking in terms of like jail and bail reform, the piz.
Does this make you guys feel like unsafe to eat at McDonald's or walk around the city seeing a clip like
I avoid McDonald's all the time. I will never step foot in a McDonald's. If you've seen me do it, you saw me do it during the pandemic or pre-pandemic, okay? I'll never go to a McDonald's. When you're that location, I think, was Delancey in Essex. I've been in that McDonald's. And a man has tried to fight me. He tried to fight me one time there. And, you know, what am I going to do? Fight some guy in a McDonald's? No, it becomes unsafe. So what I do is I avoid McDonald's, and I avoid 7-Eleven too. Because, again, I've been harassed for not taking the piz properly there as well. So, you know.
What did you almost get into a fight over? What did you do?
There was a door on the side of the building that said, do not open. I assumed it was locked or something, and some guy was standing outside, and he was banging on it, asking me to let him in. And, you know, I was like, no, buddy, like, I'd fucking walk through the front door. You could do it, too. Like, I'm not going to get out of line and do that. So he came in. He was like, why didn't you open the door? I'm like, oh, it says do not open. And then he was like starting shit. And then I told him to have a nice day. And he didn't take too kindly to that. He came outside. It was me and two buddies. So, I mean, listen, end of the day, 3v1, guys. He's getting the piz. So he comes out and he's like, oh, I'll fuck you guys up. And we're like, hey, bud, have a good day. And then I walked away and I felt sorry for him.
Maybe instead of like certain people having weapons, everyone, imagine if everyone in New York was issued a knife. A hatchet. Let's see everyone go head to head with a hatchet. You know, because you're going to question it, like on the subway, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't whip out my hatchet because everyone else has a hatchet.
And you could also put advertisements on the hatchet. It's just another means of them to, you know, make money through advertising.
Even some New Yorkers, they're onto something. They're onto something interesting. If everybody had a hatchet, maybe guys would be slow to pull out theirs. Maybe if everybody had a great equalizer, or the sane folks had a great equalizer and could carry it, maybe people wouldn't be so quick to violence. Because I know there's a high likelihood that there's 5 other people in here out of the 20 that have the great equalizer too, and I'm probably going down in a blaze, okay? I'm probably going down in a hellfire of, of rounds. But an armed society is a polite society, right? Come on now. They're on to something. Nice drop the mic moment. I love it there at the end. But check out this clip from Kathy Hochul and what she had to say about issues going on in her state. Check it out.
Now, these are master manipulators. They have this conspiracy going all across America to try and convince people that in democratic states they're not as safe. Well, guess what? They're also not only election deniers, they're data deniers. The data shows that shootings and murders are down in our state by 15%, even in New York City, down 20% on Long Island, where Lee Zeldin comes from.
Once again, out of touch. Out of touch. You just can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up, right? Like Lee Zeldin was talking about there in the first clip with Tucker on the debate stage, I believe it was. She said, "I don't know why you care about crime so much." What? Excuse me? Yeah, absolutely insane. And I don't blame that guy for wanting to avoid McDonald's or avoid a 7-Eleven or whatever the case is, because especially nowadays, man, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. You don't know what somebody has, what they're going to pull out. You're not allowed to carry the great equalizer. So what's a hatchet to fist? I mean, you're going to lose that one. You're gonna get a hand cut off trying to fight that battle. So yeah, super out of touch, man. It is just absolutely incredible what these guys and gals are doing to their own campaigns. It's almost as if they don't even care. It's absolutely insane. Insane. But y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.